great commercial case study taken from my Module 1 Feng Shui training program, and it demonstrates specific Feng Shui reasons why a tenant on one side of the same commercial development with very similar architecture in the same location can do very well over many years, and the opposite end of the development, tenants flip in and out of the space, failing to make their necessary cash flow and new business to support themselves. In the next slide, we see one of the key Feng Shui issues present. Notice the tall tower on the left-hand side of the slide, which houses a tenant that was not doing well and eventually had to leave the space because she couldn't make her basic expenses. She faces a very busy street in the city with good visibility and good name recognition for the signage that she put on the top of this tower facing the busy street. Still, she couldn't make it in this space. Notice that there's cars traveling on this busy street in two different directions, multiple lanes of traffic going in two opposite directions. Notice specifically the cars on the side closest to her space, where the tall tower is, are going in a direction away from the entrance to her lease space. This indicates a negative Feng Shui aspect that can drain energy and the potential for new foot traffic, increasing cash flow, and new business away from your building all the time. The next slide shows the rear, the back side of her space. Notice the tall towers on the far left-hand side of the slide, and then you see a lot of windows with colored stripe awnings in the center. There's a low stone wall at the back and a couple of very narrow trees. But basically, this is a second issue in her case. If there is no ability for the back of the building to collect and store life force energy or qi over time, it seriously depletes the potential of that building to provide a strong business location that can grow a business over time and allow for a lot of expansive energy. This represents the inability of the landscaping and the rear of the building to provide a capture point for life force that can hold qi and build up the potential for new business. The next slide shows the complete opposite end of the development, where we have a very permanent tenant that's been there for many years and is thriving in her business. And her space is laid out inside so that the back of her building does not face that same wall, low wall, with the colored awnings. It faces a solid wall at the back of the building where there's strong capture point for qi. The next slide shows the front elevation of the building and tenant that's doing very well. And please note that it faces one of the entrances and exits into the development that keeps very, very busy and active the parking lot area directly in front of her entrance to activate new energy all the time. Here's a close-up of her actual entrance, and notice that there are no tall buildings directly in front. There's two trees on either side of her entrance, but they're not directly in front of the entrance, and there are no landscape features such as large rocks either, blocking the flow of energy directly to her door. You must have this kind of open flow energy in a leased space environment to bring new money and foot traffic into your business. The next slide is dramatic because it tells the whole story. It shows the interior leased space in the center of the development, and one half of the leased spaces on the right-hand side of the slide, there's no cars, no foot traffic, and no business. These tenants keep flipping in and out of these spaces because they just can't make it. The group of cars on the left-hand side are parked in front of the space that's doing very well, that has an unimpeded front entrance and a capture point for qi at the back of the building. The next slide is a quick close-up of an entrance on the side of the development that's not doing well, and the next slide shows why. Directly across from all the entrances on the side of the development that are not doing well for their tenants, there is not just one building, but there are two buildings, one in the foreground and then a much larger, more expansive building directly behind it that are blocking energy directly to the new entrances. This limits cash flow, foot traffic, and new business. It's a very bad Feng Shui indicator. So here's a quick summary. If you're looking for business space, check out one that allows the foot traffic and cars to move toward your entrance, not away from it. Definitely pick one that has some kind of enclosure at the back of the building that allows life force energy to collect and store over time. And for sure, pick an entrance that has no physical obstructions directly in front of it. If you'd like to learn even more about how your business and your residential environments impact your success, click the opt-in next to this video.